Long miles, no drama, built to endure. 13 Japanese machines known for reliability, simple upkeep, and comfort. You get real-world prices, proven engines, and senior-friendly ergos. Watch for number 1, a small cruiser that routinely stacks 6-figure miles without breaking a sweat. Which Japanese bike gave you the highest odometer reading? Claiming the spotlight at number 13, Yamaha TW200. Fat tire legend with simple air-cooled single that feels practically bulletproof. New examples usually list around $4,999, and clean used bikes commonly bring $3,000 to $4,500, making this one of the most affordable long-term adventure companions. Owners praise reliability, minimal service needs, and a friendly nature that invites daily use on pavement, sand, or forest 2-tracks. The low seat and compact wheelbase create confidence at parking lot speeds, while those signature wide tires add traction, stability, and surface forgiveness on gravel, mud, and beach approaches. Steering remains predictable with the clutches light, and the 5-speed shifts smooth with a relaxed cadence that keeps wrists peaceful and knees relaxed. Suspension is basic yet durable, soaking potholes with enough composure to keep the ride enjoyable for senior riders who value balance over bravado. One rider shared, "It's just more fun. So light, so little, so chill. I can't recommend a TW200 enough. The fat rear tire tracks through sand, and the skinny front fines bite without twitch, so line selection stays simple and low stress. Range is respectable for a small thumper. The tank holds roughly 1.8 gallons, and the motor often returns 70 to 80 miles per gallon, so 120 plus miles between stops is normal with measured throttle. Maintenance stays simple. Valve checks are straightforward, chain care is easy, and parts availability is reliable thanks to decades of production and a massive following. The motor's modest output keeps heat and stress limited, which adds years to the drivetrain's service life and keeps ownership costs predictable. Light negative? Top-end speed is modest, so sustained freeway work is not its specialty. Treat highways as brief connectors and enjoy rugged trails and campground roads where this machine feels purpose-built. Prefer a similar, reliable vibe with throwback style? The next pick brings that look with long-life mechanicals. Fat tires, lifesaver on trails, or overhyped for you? Cruising in at number 12, Honda Nighthawk 750. Honda's Nighthawk 750 is the definition of reliable commuting and weekend wandering. A simple, air-cooled inline-4 with hydraulic valve lifters that erase shim checks and keep maintenance predictable for decades. New is long discontinued, so focus on used examples that typically land between $2,500 and $5,000, depending on mileage, records, and condition. That pricing keeps ownership practical while you enjoy a motor famous for smooth manners and consistent longevity. Displacement sits around 747 cubic centimeters, tuned for linear thrust and low drama, with a 5-speed that snicks cleanly and tolerates daily abuse without complaint. Ergonomics are senior-friendly, an upright triangle, a plush seat, and moderate pegs that protect knees and hips, while the wide handlebar gives stable leverage in traffic. Fuel range is solid thanks to a tank right around 5 gallons and real-world economy in the 40 to 50 miles per gallon window, so you stretch stops on suburban loops and 2-lane cruises. Brakes are straightforward and trustworthy with fresh pads and lines, and the chassis tracks predictably on patched pavement, responding well to modern tires for extra confidence. Electricals are uncomplicated, parts support is abundant, and routine service, oil, filters, plugs, chain, stays affordable, which is why these bikes rack up 6-figure odometers with relaxed wallets. The light negative is wind at highway pace. A small screen adds comfort without spoiling the classic silhouette, and fork springs or fresh shocks can add control if you carry luggage. The rest is effortless. The motor is understressed, the heat output is modest, and the community knowledge base is massive. So every quirk has a documented, practical fix. If you want an everyday standard that simply keeps showing up, this Nighthawk's balanced temperament and Honda-grade durability make it a forever machine. Nighthawk owners, what's the highest mileage you have logged, and which comfort tweak made the biggest difference for your shoulders and knees? Don't hit the brake, subscribe so you never miss our long ride lineups. Share your seat, height, bar rise, and best gel or foam fix. Help another rider beat pain. Powering through at number 11, Suzuki V-Strom 1000. The V-Strom 1000 is a mile-munching V-twin with reliable stamina, stable manners, and proven hardware. Built for riders who value durable design over flashy trends and want consistent performance when the map turns vague. New price no longer applies. The 1000 was discontinued and superseded by the 1050, so smart shoppers hunt used examples in the 4,000 to 7,500 range, prioritizing service history, valve checks, and a charging system once over for secure ownership. The big Suzuki's frame feels robust under luggage, and the engine is a long-life workhorse with smooth torque and low drama. And the fueling is refined enough to idle through traffic or surge past semis without buzzy protest. Comfort is where it quietly shines. An adjustable windscreen builds a peaceful pocket. The seat is day-long comfort with room to move, and the triangle keeps shoulders relaxed on interstates that stretch for states. One rider shared, "The adjustable windshield works well for me. The stock seat is very comfortable. The best seat I've ever used. Maintenance is practical. Chain care, straightforward filters, accessible plugs, and valve intervals that reward careful planning rather than constant wrenching." While the aftermarket adds stable racks, taller screens, and reassuring crash bars. Light negative, at parking lot speeds, it feels hefty, so practice slow control, run good tires, and keep the shock preload set for your actual load to stay planted. On the open road though, it settles into a confident rhythm that eats distance with reliable ease and fuel economy that stays respectable for a 1000cc twin. If you want a tourer that balances value, comfort, and longevity, this one is a keeper. And if you prefer something lighter and simpler for back roads, our next pick brings rugged air-cooled charm. V-twin tourer or inline 4. Which layout lasts longer for you and why? Holding strong at number 10, Kawasaki KLX 230 and the KLX 230S. The KLX 230 is a simple air-cooled dual sport with durable bones, reliable fueling, and a learner-friendly seat height that invites you to explore gravel lanes without anxiety, then commute on Monday with the same stress-free rhythm. New pricing lands near $4,999 for non-ABS and $5,299 for ABS on the S, while used examples commonly run $3,500 to $4,800 depending on miles and add-ons. That's serious value for a machine this robust. The single-cylinder engine is understressed, the maintenance schedule is practical, and parts availability is secure, which means more riding and less garage time. Ergonomics are confidence-building, narrow waist for stable footing, neutral reach for relaxed shoulders, and a compliant suspension tune that favors traction and control over harshness. Upgrade the skid plate for rugged rock protection, fit handguards for reliable lever survival, and consider a 13-tooth front sprocket if you live in technical terrain. Each change adds tangible confidence without compromising the bike's smooth civility. Light negative, highway pace is limited. Treat it as a 55 miles per hour backroads tool, not a slab rocket, and the experience stays peaceful and fun. Fuel range is practical with a steady wrist. The chassis is stable in ruts, and the cockpit accepts racks, tailbags, and soft panniers for weekend freedom. For riders returning to dirt after years away or new riders who want a trusted platform, the KLX 230's reliable simplicity and forgiving balance make it a long-term companion, not a short-term fling. What's your favorite trail upgrade for real-world durability? A skid plate for rock strikes or taller pegs for confident body position? Dominating the list at number 9, Honda VF750C Magna, 1994 to 2003. Honda's VF750C Magna is a muscle cruiser with a refined V4 heart, a reliable reputation, and a surprisingly long service life when owners follow practical maintenance, oil, coolant, chain, and valves on schedule. New is discontinued, so focus on used listings from roughly $2,500 to $4,500, where condition and documentation matter more than chrome. Hunt for straight wheels, smooth fueling, and a charging system that holds stable voltage. Then enjoy a cruiser that blends swift roll-on with silky top end. The liquid-cooled V4 pulls with torquey enthusiasm, yet remains smooth at cruise, reducing fatigue for comfort on real-world rides. And the gearbox is typically precise, with a clutch that lasts if treated with measured inputs. Top speed of Honda VF750C Magna. Ergonomics are cruiser relaxed, wide bar, plush saddle, forwardish pegs. Yet the chassis feels more balanced than many rivals, turning in with confident ease and tracking stable through sweepers without wallow when the shocks are healthy. Light negative, range can be modest if you ride the power band. Keep a relaxed wrist and the miles between pumps improve, while regular chain care keeps final drive clean, quiet, and efficient. Ownership is straightforward because parts support remains strong, fluids are common, and the community knowledge base is massive. So issues like R/R upgrades, jetting tweaks on earlier years, or modern tires with proven compounds are well documented. Add a small fly screen for reliable chest relief, consider progressive fork springs for control, and you have a cruiser that can handle a weekend sprint or a cross-country loop without complaint. If your ideal long-life bike mixes character with durability, the Magna's V4 soundtrack and Honda-grade reliability deliver a combo that feels special every time you thumb the starter. Would you trade a little range for power on a cruiser? Or do you prefer maximum miles between stops? What's your reliable sweet spot? Sliding into number 8, Yamaha WR250R. The Yamaha WR250R is a legendary dual sport that blends reliable engineering, smooth suspension, and stable handling into a package that refuses to quit. New models are discontinued, but used prices hover between $4,500 and $7,000, depending on mileage, upgrades, and regional demand, and buyers gladly pay for this bulletproof reputation. It's liquid-cooled single runs with surprising refinement, pulling cleanly through the mid-range and holding strong on highways longer than most dual sports of this size. Maintenance is reasonable, with valve checks spread far apart, and the aftermarket support is massive, from racks and tanks to ECU flashes that extend range and refine fueling. The tall saddle height delivers commanding visibility and long travel suspension that eats rocks, ruts, and potholes with confident ease, making it a peaceful companion whether you're tackling rocky fire roads or urban backstreets. Light negative, shorter riders may struggle with the tall perch, but lowering links and reshaped seats keep the bike accessible without losing its stable geometry. Community knowledge is abundant, with riders logging over 50,000 miles on stock engines, proof of the bike's durable spirit. If you want a machine that laughs at abuse and rewards careful upkeep with decade-long service, the WR250R belongs on your list. WR250R fans, do you stick with stock gearing or swap sprockets for longer highway legs? Locking down the spot at number 7, Kawasaki Z900. The Kawasaki Z900 is a modern inline-4 hammer, engineered with reliable guts, under-stress tuning, and a reputation for smooth longevity. New models begin at $9,999, while used bikes range from $6,500 to $8,500, representing serious value for a 900cc class, naked. Power delivery is strong yet refined, pulling with seamless thrust across the rev range without ever feeling buzzy or stressed, which is why these motors routinely last well over 100,000 miles. Ergonomics lean toward upright comfort with a natural reach and relaxed triangle, making it surprisingly friendly for daily commuting or cross-state blasts. The chassis is stiff yet balanced. Brakes deliver confident stopping, and electronics are intuitive enough to inspire trust without distracting from the raw ride. Light negative, being a naked wind blast at highway pace is noticeable, though taller screens and aftermarket deflectors tame the pressure for stable touring. Riders love how the Z900 carries old-school reliability with modern precision, a rare blend in today's market. Maintenance is straightforward. Oil, valves, and chain are simple jobs, and the parts supply is strong worldwide. Whether you're carving canyons, commuting, or packing bags for a weekend, the Z900 delivers durability and refinement without the boutique price tag. Would you pay extra for the Z900 RS version's retro looks? Or is this modern hammer all the motorcycle you need? Blazing ahead at number 6, Honda CRF 250L. Honda's CRF 250L is a simple dual sport designed for riders who value reliable mechanics, peaceful ownership, and global parts availability. New models have been discontinued, but used listings usually run between $3,500 and $5,500, depending on mileage and accessories, which makes them one of the best value dual sports on the market. The air-cooled single is understressed and built with durable components that shrug off neglect and keep running through thousands of trail and street miles. Maintenance is practical. Valve checks are simple, parts are everywhere, and even backcountry mechanics know how to keep them going. Ergonomics are friendly, with a low to mid saddle height, upright triangle, and compliant suspension that works for riders of many sizes. Light negative, highway speed feels strained, with the motor working hard at 70 miles per hour, but for dirt roads, suburban runs, and weekend ADV play, it's an endlessly trusted partner. The chassis is rugged yet forgiving. The weight is manageable, and luggage racks turn it into a small ADV tour without drama. Countless owners report 10 years plus of service with only basic oil and chain care, proving this bike's reliable heart. Whether you're exploring rural lanes, commuting daily, or teaching a new rider, the CRF 250L earns its reputation as a stone-axe durable machine. CRF riders, do you stick with stock suspension or upgrade forks and shock first for extra control? Rolling into number 5, Suzuki GSX-S1000. The Suzuki GSX-S1000 rides on that famed K5 derived heart, a robust 1000cc motor with proven metallurgy, reliable fueling, and street mapping that keeps delivery smooth, tractable, and long-wearing. New lists at $11,699, while used typically ranges from $7,500 to $10,000, depending on mileage, records, and accessories, placing it in a value window for riders who want durable performance without boutique headaches. The inline 4 is under-stressed for everyday use, tuned for broad mid-range rather than dyno theatrics, so you get linear thrust, predictable response, and consistent temperatures even in summer traffic. A rigid chassis, precise steering geometry, and quality suspension give stable feedback on patched pavement, and the brakes provide repeatable bite with excellent modulation. Ergonomics lean toward comfort, upright reach, relaxed knee angle, and a supportive saddle that feels plush for real-world distances. Add a small screen, and the wind becomes manageable at commuter speeds. Long-life consumables and an accessible layout make routine service practical, and the global parts ecosystem is mature, which keeps ownership relaxed and wallet-friendly. Electronics remain sensible rather than gimmicky, with traction control and ABS acting like quiet guardians instead of noisy referees. The light negative is fuel appetite when you spin it near the red. Stay in that flexible mid-range and economy improves while fatigue stays low. For riders chasing reliable muscle with everyday civility, this platform blends refined manners with impressive longevity. Would you own a 1000cc bike if it meant bulletproof reliability? Or do you prefer a smaller machine that sips fuel and stretches range? Charging up to number 4, Honda Trail 125 CT125. Honda's Trail 125 revives a classic with modern fuel injection, reliable electrics, and practical hardware that shrugs off daily chores and gravel detours with cheerful confidence. New lists at $4,099 and used generally land between $3,800 and $4,800, depending on miles, racks, and condition, delivering tremendous value for a machine engineered for durable service and simple upkeep. The air-cooled single is efficient and stout, delivering predictable pull-off idle and a chilled vibe that flatters new riders while still feeling useful in hilly neighborhoods. A semi-automatic gearbox and centrifugal clutch make stop-and-go remarkably smooth, and low gearing turns steep alleys or forest spurs into relaxed strolls. Big luggage racks, a high-mount intake, and sensible protection speak to practical design, while the step-through layout and low seat keep balance stable when maneuvering on uneven shoulders or tight garages. Fuel injection brings reliable starts in cold mornings, and service points are accessible for at-home maintenance with basic tools. It is not a freeway rig. Top speed headroom is limited, yet the chassis feels composed on 35 to 45 mph back roads where scenery and smooth pacing matter most. Add knobbier tires and a small wind deflector, and you have a rugged town-to-trail companion that outlasts hurried trends. Owners praise the peaceful rhythm, the practical storage, and the minimal demands on time or budget, which is exactly why these bikes rack up long years with minimal drama. Would you cross a state line at backroad speeds for the view and the vibes? Or keep your trail local as the reliable daily that never complains? Throttle the engine and hit subscribe bell on. Join our crew for long mile reliability picks, real prices, and setup tips. We drop weekly rides that keep backs happy and wallets secure. At number 3, Kawasaki Z900 RS. The Kawasaki Z900 RS blends retro elegance with modern dependability, delivering a reliable inline-4 that feels smooth, refined, and wonderfully stable at real-world speeds. New begins at $12,649, and used examples typically range from $9,000 to $12,000, depending on mileage, trim, and accessories. And that premium over the standard Z900 buys finish, detail, and a more relaxed tune aimed at longevity. The motor is understressed and beautifully balanced, with linear power, low buzzy intrusion, and a broad plateau that encourages efficient short shifts rather than frantic rev chasing. Chassis feedback is confident. Neutral geometry, planted mid-corner composure, and suspension that feels compliant on scarred pavement, yet controlled when you pour on the throttle. Brakes offer predictable initial bite with strong progression, and modern rider aids step in with discreet intervention, keeping focus on the road rather than menus. Ergonomics suit longer days, a generous, plush saddle, moderate pegs, and classic bars that keep shoulders relaxed while preserving authentic style. Service access is practical, part support is strong, and the community is enthusiastic about tasteful upgrades, slip-ons, comfort screens, and luggage, without compromising durability. The light negative is priced relative to the plainer sibling. However, the RS returns that spend through resale strength, timeless appeal, and a powertrain built for reliable decades. For riders who want character without sacrificing practical ownership, this is a compelling blend of heritage and modern robustness. Which would you ride daily? RS Retro with premium finish and relaxed tuning, or the modern Naked for lower cost and slightly sharper attitude? Coming in hot at number 2, Suzuki Bandit 1200. Suzuki's Bandit 1200 pairs an understressed, oil and air-cooled inline-4 with rugged hardware to deliver thunderous mid-range and marathon reliability that touring riders and commuters swear by. New models are long gone, but used pricing is friendly. Expect well-kept bikes between $3,500 and $6,000, with late, low-miles survivors commanding a bit more. And every dollar buys proven longevity plus a vast support network. The Big Four is roughly 1,157 cubic centimeters, descended from race-bred architecture, yet tuned for durable street torque. So you get smooth roll-on from neighborhood speeds, effortless passing on 2-lane highways, and stable temps even on summer commutes. Carburetors are simple to live with once properly jetted, and valve service is periodic but straightforward. Keep oil fresh and the airbox sealed, and these engines routinely cross 100,000 miles with confident ease. Ergonomics is a sweet spot for mature riders. Upright posture, a supportive seat that welcomes gel upgrades, and a natural bar reach that keeps wrists peaceful while still giving precise steering input. The steel chassis is stout under luggage. Suspension responds well to quality springs and oil, and modern pads with braided lines transform brake feel from decent to reassuring for loaded touring. Expect real-world economy in the mid-30s to low 40s miles per gallon from a tank near 5 gallons, which means respectable range between stops, especially if you cruise the broad mid-range instead of living at redline. Light negative? Stock jetting on some years can feel lean or a touch buzzy at constant throttle. A thoughtful rejet and carb sync deliver silky response and better MPG, while fresh engine mounts and bar ends calm remaining vibration. Consumables are common. Bodywork is shared across trims, and the aftermarket is enormous. Screens, racks, seats, and gearing to tailor comfort and control without compromising longevity. If your forever bike needs authentic muscle, day-long ergonomics, and stone axe durability, the Big Bandit remains a brilliantly practical choice. Bandit riders, what gearing and windscreen combo gave you the most stable highway manners over long distances? The ride that rules without question. Number 1. Honda CB650R. The modern middleweight standard earns a reliable reputation by pairing an understressed inline-4 with Honda's durable ancillaries, delivering years of smooth commuting and weekend fun with little drama. New begins at $9,399, while used examples typically land between $6,000 and $8,000, depending on miles, records, and accessories. So budgeting stays predictable. The engine's balanced temperament is the headline. Crisp fueling, a refined clutch, and a gearbox that feels precise even after thousands of shifts. Power arrives, linear below the mid-range, then builds with satisfying urgency toward the top. Yet the motor remains civil enough for long days. Cooling is robust for traffic. The alternator output supports heated layers, and maintenance scheduling is clear, which keeps ownership peaceful. Ergonomics hit a senior-friendly sweet spot. Upright triangle, sensible bar width, and a supportive seat that avoids hot spots better than many sportier perches. While the chassis tracks stable through sweepers without beating you up on cracked pavement. Suspension responds well to baseline setup. A small preload tweak can deliver noticeable improvements, and fresh tires transform agility with confident turn-in. Brakes offer strong initial bite and consistent modulation, and the electronic suite is refreshingly minimal, adding essential ABS without burying you in menus, which preserves a simple analog connection. Light negative, it is not as plush as cruisers, nor as ferocious as 1000cc bikes. The trait is durable balance and year-round practicality. Parts availability is excellent, service literature is plentiful, and the community shares reliable torque, specs, shim tips, and luggage solutions. So support feels secure. If you want a motorcycle that keeps showing up, this 4-cylinder standard explains why riders label it a forever machine. Owners report mileages with comfort intact and wallets relaxed because the platform was engineered for consistent service and reliability. 13 Japanese legends that outlast riders, delivering reliable engines, durable parts, and smooth manners for decades. Recap: simple maintenance, proven platforms, and real-world prices you can actually find. Plus ergos that keep shoulders relaxed and knees happy. Ask, which machine would you trust for coast to coast? What miles, what luggage, what upgrades? Subscribe. Join our crew, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and ride with us for the next 1,000 miles of practical picks and comfort wins. Tease. Next video reveals hidden bargain tours with value, range, and senior-friendly control. Bring your reliable stories below and help another rider choose wisely today.